Can you feel a room? Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt something? Nobody said anything to you. In one room, everybody's laughing, having a good time, and you can feel the excitement. In another room, nobody's saying anything, and you can feel the tension. This reminds me of this old Coke and Pepsi commercial from back in the day. You would go in one room, and it was the Coke room, and it was dull, stuffy, nobody having fun, no one smiling, nothing. But then you go into the Pepsi room and everybody was excited, having a great time. The vibe was high, the energy was high, and it just made you want to go to the Pepsi room. Now, I'm not asking you to choose one soft drink over another, just pointing out that this commercial, it brings the point home of what I'm trying to share with you right now. When you walk into those rooms, you might say something about the energy in that room felt different. But what we are actually noticing and could be becoming more aware of is our own internal state. And this can change how we move through life. So that's what I want to explore with you today. The third Hermetic principle, the principle of vibration. And if you've been following the series, we're exploring what I call the rules of the game. The first one is mentalism. Everything begins within. The second is correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. Now I'm talking to you about vibration. The Kabbalion, which is a book that presents these Hermetic teachings, puts the principle this way. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Understand, I'm not asking you to blindly accept every metaphysical claim associated with the vibration. I'm just exploring these principles right alongside of you. I'm your guide, I'm not your guru. The question I keep asking is, what can we actually apply to our lives? Now, I spent a lot of time of my life working in hospitality, working in restaurants, catered events, busy environments, organizing events, crowds. And if you've ever worked in hospitality, you know that you learn how to read a room. Sometimes you'll walk into a restaurant and immediately sense this is going to be a great night. Other times, something will feel off. The mood of the guests, the employees, the pace, the noise, interactions. All this contributes to the atmosphere of that room. And this brings me back to the idea of movement. Nothing is completely still. Look around you. Your table, your chair, your wall. Things appear completely solid and appear completely still, yet at the physical level, matter isn't simply frozen and motionless. Now, activity is occurring that our senses don't necessarily perceive. Now, this is just like everyday life. You got a heart beating, you got breathing, thoughts coming and going, emotions changing, seasons changing, people changing, circumstances changing. Life, it moves, right? So, understand that maybe one thing vibration can teach us is that feeling stuck doesn't mean that nothing's happening. Things are still moving, and we can become more intentional about how we move with them. So let me ask you, what are you tuned into? Picture an old-fashioned radio, the one with the knobs and the dials. Multiple stations are broadcasting, but you only hear the station you're tuned into. Turn the dial, you get static, and then suddenly you get some music and some sound. Now, I'm using this as a metaphor, not physics for manifestation. Think about your attention. What station are you tuned into most of the day? Are you tuned into what could be going wrong? Are you tuned into what you don't have? What somebody told you? Why something won't work? Or are you tuned into possibilities, solutions, gratitude, opportunities, what you can actually control? Now, understand that what consistently holds your attention can influence your state. Have you ever been angry? You ever sent a text message and later thought, man, I wish I didn't send that. I wish I could take that back. I've certainly done it. I'm the same person, same intelligence, different state. Now, have you ever felt confident? Handle something that normally would have intimidated you. Again, you're the same person, but you're in a different state, a different response. This is where vibration becomes practical. Instead of obsessing about how high I'm vibrating and what's my frequency, ask yourself something useful. What state am I operating from right now? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it scarcity? Or is it peace, confidence, gratitude, and curiosity? Now, I mentioned that I've worked hospitality events throughout my life. And recently I was working a catered event at a baseball game, and our team was losing 4-0 at the bottom of the ninth. It felt like the game was basically over. Then things started to change. The team started chipping away. A runner gets on base, another one gets a hit, another runner. Crowd starts waking up. You can feel the atmosphere changing. Runs start coming in. It's 4-1, 4-2, 4-3. Now everybody believes something might happen. Then it's 4-4. The stadium erupts. The energy is completely different than it was a few minutes earlier. Now, here's the moment. The big slugger comes up to the plate. The crowd is on its feet. Noise is everywhere. It's anticipation. And then smack. Home run. Walk-off winner. Place goes crazy. So let me ask you something. Did the crowd's energy affect what happened on the field, or did what happened on the field create the crowd's energy? So maybe there was some feedback in both directions. I can't prove what caused it, but I know the state of that entire stadium changed. And that's what interests me. Our environment can influence our state. Our state can influence how we respond to the environment. So understand it. You don't have to become every emotion you feel. You can choose. And this is something that I'm learning. Is just because I feel something don't mean I have to be it. I can feel the fear without letting the fear make every decision. I can feel frustrated without speaking from frustration. I can feel discouraged without deciding that my dream's impossible. So understand that awareness creates a space. And inside that space, I get to get a choice. I get to choose. I can respond instead of reacting. So maybe we don't even need to call it raising your vibration. Maybe we can just call it changing your state intentionally. Now, I love taking walks. Sometimes I'm a little stressed out and something's weighing on me. I'm thinking too much. So I go outside. I start walking. Things begin changing. Breathing, perspective, tension, thoughts. The problems may still be there, but I'm meeting the problem from a different state. For some reason, dogs always seem to speak to me more than the people do. Animals start coming over to me. I'm noticing things around me. I'm more present. I'm not trapped entirely inside my head anymore. So that's a great way to shift your state. And that's what I do. You might want to go out and listen to some music, move your body, sit, pray, meditate, change your environment, talk to a trusted friend. So, but none of this means pretending everything is wonderful. This is not about toxic positivity. Not denying the problem. We're putting ourselves in a better state to deal with the problems. So, this connects to everything that we've been talking about. Your intention influences what you repeatedly think about. Repeated thoughts enforce your beliefs. Beliefs influence your emotions. Emotions influence your actions. Your actions become your habits. And then your habits influence your results. And this is why the inner work matters. And not because you're sitting on a couch thinking positively guarantees that a Lamborghini is going to appear in your driveway. That's not what we're talking about here. The inner work matters because the person you're becoming influences the decisions that you're going to be making. And that's what my brand is all about, is create lifestyle. We're not wishing for a different life. We begin becoming the person capable of creating one. So this is what I want you to think about. What station am I tuned into most of the day? Ask yourself, is this state helping me become the person capable of creating a life I say that I want? So don't judge yourself. Just notice, become aware, because awareness gives you the ability to adjust the dial. So understand that the principle of vibration says that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates, and your current state doesn't have to become your destiny. Become aware of what you're tuned into. Become aware of the state you're operating from. And when necessary, change the dial. So sometimes just changing direction begins with changing the state from which you're making the next decision. And that's why I keep saying that the only way out is in. Because if I want more control over how I respond to the outside, I first have to understand what's happening inside. So yes, I'll say it again. The only way out is in. Peace, one love, and control your destiny.